Hi. My topic is COVID-19 effect on mental health. So, the purpose of my speech is to, inform the general audience about the increase in mental health disorders and what really, happened to the students as a result of, COVID. I am credible, about this because I took time to research, provided credible sources, and in addition, I went through it personally at the height of that pandemic, and it's still going on, but at the height of that pandemic, I was going through a lot and I experienced anxiety and depression as well. And this came to a surprise to me because I've never really went through depression and anxiety like that. And a lot of other people, I'm sure, can relate to that as well. Um, According to the Center for Diseases Control website, 3 out of 4 Americans aged 18 to 24 reported poor mental health related to the pandemic, which is insane to me. Um, the impact of COVID 19 on mental health has sparked a much needed conversation on the mental health epidemic, especially among college and high school students with anxiety and depression. It's already there at our age, so it heightened because we weren't going out, we weren't seeing people, and that's why college students were the most affected, I feel like, right? In today's speech, I will discuss how online school has impacted college students and high school students in a negative way. Um, we will go over a percentage of students failing, bigger percentage. More students are failing nowadays, which has is linked to mental health, right? Which is linked to the epidemic. Second, I will discuss how social interaction has reduced as a result of the epidemic because we're not going out as much and we're not seeing our friends. And finally, students are losing their jobs, which would also cause depression. And you know, when they're losing their jobs, they have no source of income. So, say they're living in a dorm, right? They can't pay for you. They can't provide the financial needs. So, what they can't do anything in that situation, right? So, first of all, the online school format. The lack of face-to-face instruction meant lack of motivation, right? So, because of the pandemic's impact on students, fewer students are enrolling. Fewer students are and were enrolling in the autumn semester of 2020, right? Harry Srivasan performed an interview on January 19th, 2021, on the public broadcast service compared to 2019. Service page and discovered that 556,000 undergraduate students did not enroll in the 2020 autumn semester compared to 2019, according to Steven Vanson. The lack of face to face meant people were not enrolling as much because they did not feel like they could do good and they wanted to. You generally naturally want to learn in person versus online. It's just not the same, right? And according to a study conducted by North Carolina State University, 45% of pupils are at high risk of psychological harm as a result of online schooling induced by COVID 19, according to Olin Kaz. So, since school was changed to online, students did not want to apply, simply because it was just hard for them to do that and they were home all day. So, they didn't really enjoy the benefits of learning. And we're noticing oh, the online school format has also increased the percentage of students failing, right? And that in turn increased anxiety, depression because they're failing more, they're not feeling as well. We're noticing an increase in the number of children failing as a result of online school. This is due to a depression and anxiety that came from us just being at home, stuck at home, and we're not learning in person, which can really affect people because people learn in different ways. Um, in addition, several schools are considering eliminating. They were considering eliminating the grade system, and still are because we're still online, so it's pretty relevant to talk about. And according to the American Psychological Association, the number of students who fail to receive mental health care has increased by 35%, and 75% of college students in the US are feeling high levels of worry, stress, and despair, according to Denon. um, Decreased social interaction, right? So, when everything happened, people became more isolated, and that caused loneliness, and everyone was at home as a result. Um, According to Phil Phil Kikora, stated in the University of Illinois, he stated that quarantines are connected with heightened mental health symptoms. Right. So students at home, they couldn't go out and they couldn't do what normal kids like to do, which is have fun. So it just takes away, the fun of life, right? As a young adult. Um, the ratio of people turning to addiction went really high. According to a research published by a Kesar Family Foundation in 2021, people aged 18 to 24 had a 15% increase in suicide, according to Nirmata. They emphasized their research that this age group was already at risk of mental illness, right? So they had nothing to do. They were failing school. It all comes, into one picture, and they decided to, turn to drugs, which is not a good option, never a good option, but that's what they did, and that in turn increased suicides. So in turn, like this is not how it should have been, and fortunately we're back to normal, but it was a hard time. I'm glad we get through it. And this is a major effect COVID had on the students because they couldn't even go to the gym, and the gym is somewhere you release stress, and the gym was also closed down, and I felt that personally, because I go to the gym a lot. Lastly, unemployment. So millions of individuals have lost their employment as a result of the pandemic. According to Fortune, an estimated 44.2 million Americans have lost their employment as a result of the epidemic, according to Lombard. Many college students' mental health was, getting worse because they had to pay for college and everything that comes with it, right? So money was a big issue at the time, and unemployment was on the rise. According to a 2012 study by the American Psychological Association, the link between unemployment and mental health outcomes. There are high levels of anxiety, depression, and while people are unemployed because they don't have their jobs, they don't have money, they could have a family. Even as a college student, they could have a family. And since no one could work, they were just desperate, and they could not pay anything off, and it just made everything just worse, right? So, in conclusion, after discussing the core reasons of a rise in mental health illnesses induced by COVID-19, um, we'll move on to today's topic. Wait, hold on. So, in conclusion, college students are experiencing these mental health symptoms as a result of the pandemic, and including online school, lack of social engagement, and unemployment. Students are faced with serious choices regarding their future, from failing school to losing their jobs. And we should consider how this rise in mental health will affect future generations as well. And finally, I want to encourage you guys to seek treatment if you guys need it, and if you guys know someone who's going through something, then ask them for help, and you know aid them if you need to. That's all I have to say. Thank you.